I'm Natalie.
And I'm Hannah. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, we have hit Marathon Weekend Peak Week. Today, we're reflecting on the experiences that led us to a third marathon and a third Dopey challenge. Experience doesn't remove the challenge, it changes how you meet it. So lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us.
What a week. It's peak week.
You mean peak crazy?
Yes, actually.
Peak, I've lost my mind. Peak motivation is waning. All those things.
Waiting on like things to come through mail, like a peak, like yes, it's 11 some amount of days, 9 days, till Christmas, but it's kind of like in terms of things getting through the mail, because everything's been kind of slow lately, which there's just tons and tons of mail. So if you get my Christmas card like on the 30th, just know it got mailed on the 15th.
Yeah, everything is delayed. My grandma even messaged me to let me know that she sent me a card and she wanted me to be on the lookout because she had mailed one to my sister and she said it took like way longer than she expected to get there. And she was like, I just don't trust the mail anymore. And I was like, understandable. Yeah, and I mean, speaking of the Christmas cards and fun mail, I've been really enjoying getting all of my Christmas cards. So that's fair. That's a good way to think about it. Is I like getting fun mail, not junk mail, so I will contribute to others' happiness with fun mail. Speaking of the cold, has the ice left you?
Fingers crossed. Yes, most of the ice is gone. In terms of training, I actually had probably my first good run in like almost 2 months last week. So with aforementioned vague posting of health things that I'll get to it. It's just I need to do so responsibly. And of just things being weird with stuff. Like I was so annoyed at I'm like, I don't feel like I'm actually doing enough for my heart rate to be that high right now. Like just kind of getting started. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna, the chances of me getting this run in the green zone, the base, like the low aerobic, whatever. I was like, if they're so small anyway, I might as well just rip. And I didn't try to actually do like a speed workout, but like I ended up doing a speed workout and it felt really good. And then like that pace kind of came back for me. So I felt really good about it. And then, so I'm like, I'm kind of almost wondering, not like it was in my head, because I don't think it was, because a lot of like the effort and like the feeling like sluggish doing paces that are, a lot like several minutes per mile slower. It's okay to go through seasons, absolutely. But it was abnormal for me. So things on that front are getting better, but I did actually finally have like a pretty solid, like looked at the numbers on there and I'm like, wow, this is like almost where I felt like I started when I started my Chicago block with my like speed work. So I was like, whoa, like that was, so things are kind of starting to roll back in, but yeah, we are ice. I wouldn't say completely free, but fingers crossed, considering this is peak week, I should be able to, I believe Saturday up here, it's going to be like high 40s, if not 50 degrees.
Ooh, that's very fun weather.
That it is. Okay, well now it's looking like mid 40s, but close enough. For this time of year, really that's pretty freaking fantastic. So it sounds like things are going to kind of line up for me to get that last long one in. And then, and then throughout the week, it's, 30s, which is fine. Like high 30s is fine. So pretty ideal for this time of December, especially since we've gotten so much snow already.
Yeah.
And then it should line up pretty well and then be on taper after that.
Yeah. You know what else is peaking this week?
What?
This weekend coming up on Sunday, the 21st, is the winter equinox.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what that means?
Yes, it's the shortest day of the year, so
You know what happens
always
after that, though?
they start getting longer.
Yeah! I'm very excited. We've already, at least here in Atlanta, we've already passed the point where the earliest the sun goes down, so, like, that's already moving out, but the front end is still shortening, so, like, the sun's still coming up later here, but after Sunday, that won't be true anymore, and it'll start getting bigger, and that makes me happy.
Yes, that is. I do look forward to that because it's always like, oh, it's always darkest before the dawn. I'm like, let's go, let's let me claw those minutes back, uh, like slowly but surely, and then we'll get there, and then it will feel a little bit better.
Mhm.
We still got a lot of winter to go because that's the
We
first day of
do.
winter. But
We do, but if, we're gonna look on the positive side.
yes, I'm a big fan of looking at things
More sun.
positively. Yes, yes, indeed.
We love some more sun.
Speaking of something happening a second time, the Bears and Packers play again this weekend, and we have a Blister Brigade submission that has to do with the Bears Packers game 2 weeks ago. Enter Anthony. He got a blister on his back left heel, and it was from his winter boots at the Bears Packers game. That was really, really cold. So I was very happy to be watching it from my couch, my new couch. So Anthony, meaning Tony. Sometimes I just got to call him by his government name.
Yeah. Of Family Feud notoriety. I don't know where will people know Tony from.
Really, like Rise and Run, like just GB raps, like if you know, you know. No,
Yeah.
Mr. Hollywood is what Greg calls him on Rise and Run, but
He had his own submissions, but we have our own ideas that we're
yes,
gonna go with.
yes, I do think the one submission should be brought up.
His bromance option with Greg.
Yes, absolutely.
So I won't say it exactly because we don't want to have to use the bleep, but he said he wanted to name it after Greg because it's little and a pain in his booty. I told
And
him
cute.
I already named mine Greg, so too bad, so sad.
True. This is true. But in the spirit of the Bears Packers, I decided that it's going to be named Rex Grossman. And if you are a Chicagoan or remember the 2007 Super Bowl, just know Rex Grossman, he originated in my mind the idea that Bear's gonna bear. So things can be going so right, and then the Bears are gonna just make it go so wrong. See, like me and the Pope could talk about this because he's a Bears fan.
I can't. I'm just imagining you have the opportunity to meet the Pope, and this is what you choose to discuss.
No, it would be the Chicago White Sox and the fact that he saw Joe Creedy score a run in the World Series. That was what we would talk about. And then maybe the Bears if we had time. Have you seen a lot of people keep giving him bats?
No.
I
I don't think
a
I get it.
baseball
I
bat.
don't think I follow the Pope stuff as closely as you do.
That is true. Chicago Pope is probably my only personality trait at this point. But people keep giving him baseball bats, and he's so cute. Like, he's just this little old man with a baseball bat. But the memes that come along with them that are like, you better actually help the poor.
Like the big stick kind of vibes.
Basically, yes. But it's him smiling with a little baseball bat in his hands. It was like, I heard you're being mean and you are not loving thy brother. Or something
no.
like that. Those are my favorite memes.
It's like Big Stick meets Santa.
Yes. I'm a big fan. big fan. But yes, me the Pope to talk about how the Bears let us down in the Super Bowl on February 4th, 2007. And so did Rex Grossman because he fumbled a lot that season, and he also threw an interception. So I figured that in the spirit of this weekend and the Bears Packers, Bears gonna bear, and Rex Grossman is your blister. The runner up was going to be Jay Cutler, but we're gonna save Smoke and Jay for another one.
Another submission. We're sure there will be another.
Oh, we're sure. We're sure.
Well, the football season is coming to an end, and so is the running training for Marathon Weekend.
True.
We have 22 days until Marathon Weekend 2026. It is shockingly close.
Yeah.
For all training up to a marathon, you have 30 minutes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. For Goofy, you have 30 to 45 minutes. Pick your poison. And for Dopey, you have 45 minutes. We are on training week 8 for the 5K with a 40-minute long run. Training week 14 for the 10K with a 30-minute long run. Training week 15 for the half. The beginner half has a 3-mile long run, and the experienced half has a 4-mile long run. And week 25 for Marathon, Goofy, and Dopey. The beginner marathon plan has 26 miles. Beginner marathon 10-week plan has 27 miles. Experienced marathon has 26 miles. Goofy has a 12-mile walk and a 26-mile run walk. And Dopey has a 5-mile walk, 12-mile walk, and 26-mile run walk. We have 44 days until Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Again, if you're not running the challenge, you'll have 30 minutes on Tuesday and Thursday, 30 to 45 minutes if you are participating in the challenge. We are on week 5 for the 5K with a 2.5-mile long run. Week 11 for the 10K with a 5-mile long run. Week 12 for the half and challenge. Beginner half and experienced half have 11-mile long runs, and the challenge has a 3-mile walk and an 11-mile run walk. We have 72 days until Princess Half Marathon Weekend 2026. 30-minute long run, or 30-minute. You have 30 minutes on Tuesday and Thursday if you are not running the challenge, and 30 to 45 minutes for the challenge. We are on week 1 for the 5K. Welcome to the party. You have a 1.5-mile long run this week. We are on week 7 for the 10K with a 3.5-mile long run. We are on week 8 for the half and challenge. Beginner half and experienced half have 8-mile long runs, and the challenge, you have your first back-to-back weekend with a 1-mile walk and an 8-mile run walk. We have 121 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2026. Your proof of time deadline is very quickly approaching on January 5th, 2026. Believe it or not, that's only a couple weeks away. You have 30 minutes on Tuesday and Thursday if you're not running the challenge, and 30 to 45 minutes if you are. We are on training week 1 for the 10-miler and the challenge. So the 10-miler and challenge both have 3-mile long runs this weekend. We have 310 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Do we have registration yet? They haven't officially announced it, right? It's still just the coast to coast thing.
Yep, they haven't. I'd expect it, I think, at Marathon Weekend this point.
All right, we will have more firm dates for you then. How's the Disney news this week, Natalie?
Oh, it's newsy. Okay, wait. Do you want my conspiracy? Delulu?
Always.
Okay, true. Is I'm kind of wondering if so a lot of the construction at Disneyland Paris will be done this year. So
Yeah.
Disney Adventure World will open. So that's when Walt Disney Studios Park goes through its transformation with the World of Frozen opening.
Mhm.
I wonder with the, you know, pause on Disneyland races if DLP will come back.
Oh, and we'll go instead of having coast to coast, we'll have
Castle to
Castle to
Chateau.
Chateau. I mean, that would be a pretty smooth transition.
That it would,
Mm.
you know, that it, it
Hmm.
that it would. And I mean, completely different, but a lot of people was like, well, there's so much construction going on, and there is still some that'll be going on. But with the open, when all this basically the park reopens for the studios park, I wonder if maybe while we're on a buy with Disneyland, that DLP will, because DLP was supposed to come back, like it was 2020 was when it was supposed to have a race. 2019 was the last one, and that was in September, if I remember correctly. It's a little before my participation, but I believe that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be Castle to Chateau.
Yeah, maybe what that would be potentially 2027?
Depends on how they do the. It depends on how they decide to bring it back. So
Mhm.
2020, like I think if it was if it was in September, they could have it in September 2026.
That's true. I feel like
Or
they would have announced it by now, though,
I
probably
agree.
with registration and all. Plus, we still do technically have Coast to Coast for 2026, so if then they did it the next September, that still gives them time to, like, publicize, actually have registration, and have a challenge for a year that we probably aren't gonna have Coast to Coast.
Yeah, that's also fair. Because I think if we think back to when Disneyland races coming back were announced, that was D23 in 2022. They announced that Run Disney would come back.
Oh, and we have D23 coming up.
Wait,
It might not be so conspiracy-y.
that would be bonkers if that's when they announce it. Because and then for 2027,
Mhm.
wow, that would be awesome. That would be so cool. So maybe it isn't as much of a little like conspiracy thing, but I don't know. I think that this is also just me kind of like Delulu hoping, but
Yeah,
that's just what we do here.
yeah. Was it last week or recently we did an episode where we were talking about, like, crazy other places we would make up challenges and run, and I saw this week on one of the Facebook groups that someone posted that they had run a half inside Mall of America because it was so cold outside, and one of our listeners, I think it was Michelle,
Yeah, it was Michelle tagged us.
tagged us, and I was like, "I guess our unhinged idea isn't as, like, out there as I thought it was." 'Cause people just be out there doing it.
Well, mall walkers have always been a thing, so you might as if you got to get your long run in, that's makes sense to me. But
Uh-huh.
I love when we do a little like manifestation nation.
Okay, but now what's the real Disney news? The non-conspiracy actually confirmed.
Yeah, this has been announced for a little bit, but just kind of going along with Disneyland Paris, and it's it'll or it'll when the World of Frozen will open on March 29th, 2026, and that's when Walt Disney Studios Park does its little rebrand to Disney Adventure World. So that's super exciting. The Tangled ride or whatever. It looks so beautiful. The little snippets and previews we have been able to see look really awesome. And it looks like it's going to be really really great. And I know that Walt Disney Studios Park is known as not one of the better parks uh
Mm,
in terms of I know it's gone through a lot. Let's just say that in terms of its status in
mhm,
ways where kind of I mean, I can't really say much about it. I have never been there. But you know, I think it'll look I think it looks awesome. I think that it'll like add a lot of life to that park and yeah, I'm excited to see kind of kind of what happens and I've been following along some of the more international news a little bit more lately with the Disney parks. But something domestically, we have our final date set for Rock and Roller Coaster. Its last day of operation is March 1st, 2026, before the Muppets take over.
Mhm.
So, interesting to me, at least, is just how this is going to change shenanigans for Marathon Weekend. Also, I mean, this will be
Like,
during Princess Week.
during the race shenanigans?
Absolutely.
Do you think more people are gonna try things? I mean, I just feel like it's gonna be even harder to get through shenanigans, though, because more people are gonna be in the queue and
Mhm. I think more people will try though. I think more people are
yeah.
going to, because it's not like the same way as like Dino Land with Triceratops Spin. It was the last day for
Mhm,
that during the marathon, because this will be during Princess. And for Princess, we don't go into Hollywood Studios for the half marathon. So that, and also it'll be too early in the morning. But I kind of feel like this is the last time you can ride Rock and Roller Coaster in its current edition, because Triceratops
mhm,
Spin is gone, extinct, versus like the
mhm,
Muppets are just moving into this one. It's kind of crazy that, because there, well, we don't have the pre-show anymore, too. So
mm-mm.
I wonder in what way is that going to kind of make. I don't know. I'm curious how this will change things a little bit. And
I don't know.
I wonder if it'll take some of the pressure off Everest. Because if you,
Maybe. But I've always kinda thought of all the rides to try shenanigans with, Rock and Roller Coaster to me seems the riskiest actually,
oh
because
yeah,
that queue, if you don't have, like, a purchased lightning lane maybe that you can use, the regular queue is pretty much always long, and the standby line is sometimes even longer, like, it's very hit or miss on whether or not you're gonna get through
oh, single rider,
in
yeah.
a decent speed period, whether or not it's faster or not. So I feel like that's a really risky ride to try shenanigans with. I know
That's
people
true.
do it, and if you're, like, really fast and you get there early enough, you have tons of time to kill, so maybe it doesn't matter, but
Yeah, I do. I've always thought, and also the idea of like getting into that and then getting out of that, and you still
yeah, it's
have like
really low.
a couple like miles of marathon left.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if I think that Everest seats are also kind of, like, bucket low, like, and your feet kinda go underneath, like, which one I think is harder to get in and out of? I think the Rock and Roller Coaster is much narrower.
Well, you have to like step down into Rock and Roller Coaster versus Everest. You kind of like are almost on the same plane, and you walk into
Yeah.
the thing and sit down. I mean, I've only done one of them during the marathon, and I didn't feel like anything seized up like getting out of Everest.
Fair.
Versus, I think that uh, I would fear something. I would.
Mhm.
I honestly still think Tron would probably be the worst for that. Of just like
Ooh.
Tron pose, sounds like a bad time during a marathon. I mean, I guess it's early enough in the race, but yeah, that's tough. Like that or like Astro Orbiter, like I don't know. Like
Uh, can you
just
imagine being on Astro Orbiter if you're having any kind of, like, intestinal distress?
good lord. Yeah, that sounds like a time. Woof. I would
Yuck.
ugh. Yeah, no kidding. But
Woof like my dog Pep, who's, currently under the weather.
Pep.
Poor Peppy.
Um, yeah, dang. But so we if you are coming to Princess Half Marathon Weekend, you can you know, take one last limo ride across town with Aerosmith. Except like because of pre-shows like now have, I don't know. Get those backstage passes.
Yeah.
Um cuz I do think it's really fascinating that they have like they're basically working on the pre-show while the ride is still open.
Mhm.
Because I remember when we talked about some of the changes coming to Hollywood studios that it was like, okay, are they going to have things down at the same time where they take out Muppet Vision 3D and also like take Rock and Roller Coaster down? And I probably was like, well, like that's really kind of puts pressure on the other parts of the park of like with lines.
Mhm.
But I think that this is about as because I think it's supposed to reopen in the summer, so I think it's probably about as little down. I think it's pretty smart and like about as little downtime as possible for
Mhm.
it to have like a pretty large changeover.
Mhm.
But interesting to say the least.
Yeah, and the pre-show is probably the most complicated part of the change just with, like, taking out animatronics, redoing animatronics, that kinda thing, because assuming they keep a similar, engineering style to how the actual ride is, like, they're not changing the track, so, like, the ride vehicles they could be done sitting in a warehouse somewhere already. But you basically are going through billboards. Like,
Yeah,
it's not hard to take down and put up big pieces of either sheet metal or plywood and then just change the lighting.
true.
So, like, the
Animatronics.
pre-show is probably the most complex part of that ride.
Yeah, that needs to be changed because they've already done a ton of work on the track where they had a couple years where they had it down for
It
like
was
6
down a
months at a
lot.
time. So
Yeah.
I think they've already done that part of the work. She says, not having that kind of a job, so I don't know. But they've done that part. They've done that part. So I don't know. I think it'll be really interesting and just I don't know. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Muppetization, so my algorithm sidebar has been cooking with Muppet Christmas Carol memes. And like again, like Michael Caine played that role as seriously as a car accident. And like the way that he like if you ever watch the clips, like how he interviews like with different Muppets, literally as serious as possible, as if they are like human. Beautiful. It's honestly, he's like, "Oh, Bean Bunny is about the cutest thing ever." But like like for the most part, he's like, I really liked working with Gonzo." Like my algorithm has been cooking. It's been feeding me my Muppet memes and my Muppet Christmas Carol back cuz they literally had like Gonzo interviewing, like Rizzo the Rat interviewing like kind of like how in Toy Story, if you ever watch, they have like bloopers in the back of or at the end of like Toy Story where it's like Woody and Buzz as if they're like on set.
Mhm.
But yes, my algorithm's been cooking. Speaking of things that are cooking, yesterday we got the Marathon Weekend merch preview.
Yes, we did. I am as bummed as ever that I'm not doing the 5K just because it's, like, my favorite colors, and he's so cute. Pluto is so cute on the back of that shirt.
Yes, he's so dang cute. It's funny because some of the Easter eggs, even in because I watched the reel that they put out. I was on silent because I was I was in public. Um getting with my car battery getting switched out. But I sat there and I watched and like it seems like the Stitch shoes are confirmed to be coming back for Marathon Weekend.
Oh,
This
interesting.
This wasn't in the merch preview article, but it was in the reel that I watched
Mm,
that Run Disney posted that they brought out the Stitch shoes.
mhm.
Um, but I love the stackable cup thing. I really like the jacket. Well,
The
we
which jacket?
the
The black one or
marathon,
the, like, dusty blue color one?
I think the dusty blue one. I do like the black
Mhm.
jacket too, the marathon jacket. But I mean, it's funny because like, well, we know
Do you think
because
that's the men and women's versions? Because they usually do have one of each.
yeah, um, yeah, it could be. Well, because one of them looks like the marathon, like 26.2, and one of them looks like marathon weekend.
That's true, that's probably true.
So yeah, one of them looks more like the weekend jacket versus
Mhm.
the like actual marathon jacket. Because with Dopey, we have the like Sherpa fuzzy thing, right? It's not in the merch preview, but remember
Yeah,
we got
from pre-order?
yes. So like I don't know. Here I am, like still like we've literally gotten like that little preview, and I'm still like, is it going to be the year of Adobe jacket? Because last year was a sweatshirt, and I love the sweatshirt. I'm glad I got the sweatshirt. Um, but it's kind of funny because my first year I liked the jacket, but I didn't like $90 like the jacket.
Yeah.
And I actually that's one I don't regret. The one that I regret not purchasing the most, which like doesn't make sense because I didn't do Dopey that year, was the 2024 one, which was the beautiful rich purple. You know how badly I want that jacket? I didn't do Dopey that year, so I wouldn't buy it. But I want that jacket so badly. I want that color purple in a Dopey jacket so bad. And I think
Mm.
am I out of jacket jail? It's been a while since I bought a jacket. I think
I bought one at Wine and Dine, so
yeah, did I when's the last time
I generally prefer hoodies, though, like, I just don't wear a lot of jackets. I wear a lot of hoodies, though, and, like, sweatshirts. I almost every day of my life probably wear a sweatshirt. My sweatshirt collection's unhinged. My
I
mom would say it's, unnecessary and that I need to declutter.
I've really behaved myself. I don't think I've bought a jacket since Disneyland in 2024. That said, I bought 2 at Disneyland, so, oopsie. I think I've behaved myself because last year I did have the goofy quarter zip, and then because there was white on it, I loved it, but I also didn't love it for me because I knew I would spill on it, so I returned it.
Yeah. I am anticipating a mug and, uh, water bottle purchase on my part. I have been very good I have to get the mug because I got the mug at Wine and Dine, and I love the mugs, and I can't wait to stack them all up. But I've been pretty good about, like, water bottles and stuff, so I'm hoping I really like the book theme, and even though I'm not running all the races, it's just too good a theme. I really like that cup.
Oh, yeah, it's so cute. I really, really like that. You know what? We haven't, well, it's a little early for us to place our bets on, like, what the shirt colors are gonna be, so we'll circle back to that later, but I am kind of curious because looking at the half marathon, how it's like the loved it for like the
Mhm.
finishers. I think that's so stinking cute. But and that's like a beautiful pink. So I am kind of curious what we are going to because we're using a lot of our purples in the like purchase merch, man.
Yeah, they
We're using a
are.
lot of purples here. So
I mean, they used a lot of purple in all of the artwork across all the races. So and, like, the weekend, it's just a lot of purple, period. So I just hope they don't hit us with a bunch of gray and blue like they always do, which they will. I'm sure they
yeah.
will. I
Uh
really like the Spirit jersey
I
too. I
was just
skipped
gonna
out
bring that
on
up.
the Spirit jersey at Wine and Dine, and I kind of, sort of, I wishy-washy regretted it, but I love that, like it's kinda like oil slick tie-dye rainbow something, like,
Yes.
shiny, right?
Yes. That on the word marathon. I was wondering, I was like,
And I
is it
think on
almost
Run Disney.
I was like, "Is it hollow or is it, like, holographic or is it
I
more
think it
of
might
that?"
be oil spill.
I need to consult, a video for this because I think that might help a
Yeah,
little.
because 'cause I'm just looking at the still, and based on the still, to me, it looks more of like the oil spill rainbow silver, and it looks like it's on the word marathon and on Run Disney, and then weekend in between is like either that's a really deep navy or it's black.
Yeah, I think that yeah, I I don't know, that might be an acquisition. I kinda like that the, baseball jerseys are kind of coming like, have been coming around the last couple of years.
Mhm,
I don't know if I mentioned at Wine and Dine that they had, like, club merchandise. I don't know.
mhm, but
Um,
it not much.
not much, but I did like the, I didn't buy anything, but I did like what they had. I liked
Mhm.
the, oh, yeah, my Club Run Disney, a Brooks jacket came in. That's like a
Ooh,
maroon. It's like a burgundy. I really like it. I'd say it's pretty true to size on fit too, like in terms of like I got a women's large and I I mean that was an appropriate size for me. But
mm.
they don't have the spare jersey in this video, dang it. I was waiting.
Well, we'll just have to be in suspense for a few more weeks.
That is true. I am so curious how, like, as we kind of talked about last week, how the split goes in terms of between like people going for the shoe. I mean, it depends on what they announce for shoes.
Mhm.
If there's a dopey shoe, God save my
Oof.
little broken body, wallet, body,
Oh, the
something.
stress.
But like between that, like
You
tank
can't
tops, like
Can you get early entry to the shoes as well with your Club Run Disney? Like
yes. So basically, and I've since the shoes came into the picture, I have not been there like right away.
mhm,
But I get so you have to like check out in the shoebox.
mhm,
And you have to go get your slip from Brooks. And even if you don't try on shoes, like you have to get the slip to go buy shoes. So
mhm,
basically kind of people split because I thought it was interesting at springtime. That was the first, shoe time was I was like, wow, like I feel like there's, like, so much elbow room in, like, the merch area
Mhm.
that, like, because people are at the shoes and
Mhm.
doing the shoe stuff, and I obviously was there, like, when it was a little emptier because of, Clever and Disney, but I'm curious kinda how that, like, informs consumer behavior because, like, in a way, I don't wanna say they can't run out of the shoes because Run Disney says bet, but, the way that they do limit it, like, say there is a dopey shoe, like, you
Mhm.
can only get your size and check out with your size. So, like, you could get if they launch all the new shoes, well, they're gonna bring back Stitch and say they have a couple more of the core pieces, the new Run Disney colorway, and then a pair of dopey shoes again. Uh, sign of the cross there. But, like, even if you buy all 5 pairs of shoes that they have available or 4 or 5, like, that can only take so much time. So I think
Mhm.
I think my strategy is still gonna be to go fight for my life
Merch
for a tank
first,
yeah,
yeah.
like, for a tank top, and then I will circle back for the shoes. Um, yeah, I mean, that just I think would be my c would be my strategy either way, but
I also feel as your friend, and I don't want you to feel this way, but I feel as you've, like, taken upon yourself to be the merch,
yeah,
uh, how do
guru.
I put this? Guru for your friends, in a non-hoarding kind of way and no reselling going on.
Oh god, no.
Just so we're clear, I feel like you feel the pressure to get what you need to get for your friends, so I feel like you lean that way anyways.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking that. If I was just thinking like me, well, like, it's like the damn metal replica pins. Uh, and
Oh
then, like
gosh, they've
yeah.
been a lot better about those.
Way better.
Thank
Way
goodness.
better. So, I don't worry about them quite as much anymore. Dopey's another story, and, like, because also they've been a lot better about, enforcing that
The
you can't
limits.
the
Yeah.
limits. So, you can't check mobile checkout multiples. You can't, at least in the
I
same
couldn't even
transaction.
mobile check out, like, one at,
Oh, yeah, sometimes that
there
glitches.
was this yeah, it was glitching when I was in there, so I had to go and then they were like, "Yeah, it just happens, like, every so often, like, no one can mobile check out," and I was like, "Oh, of course this happens while I'm in here."
Yeah, because I had an extra of the half marathon pin because I like thought I don't know I did have an extra and they're like, hey, we can't sell that to you. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, my bad. I was like because I think I grabbed the first one and then I was like, did I grab the like or like and
Yeah,
then uh but yeah it um yeah merch fairy of sorts the tank top fairy uh long sleeve fairy, because I think
Magnet Berry.
yeah, oh, true. Yeah, I am curious to see how just it all goes. They had a couple different little Easter eggs I felt like in the one video or in that one video that they had, talking about or if you check out Run Disney socials, not like Easter eggs, but just like little if you have to kinda like peek at it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I have to make sure I get my coast to coast stuff too.
Yeah, that went fast, and you never
I
know if they're gonna have a second like, if they sell out, then they may not have them when you make it to Disneyland, right?
well, okay, so I don't
Well,
think
they
it
may
would
not even have it out, theoretically, right? Since the first time you actually could complete it would be Disneyland, so, like, they may not have it out till Disneyland?
that is true. I do feel like they do tend to keep it at or like have it at Walt Disney World though, because
Mm,
gosh, because I got the suitcase medal when I got it in 2024, which is doing the back to back weekends. So they definitely had that at Disneyland. That was the only place you could get it, and I don't remember if so if you had started your coast to coast journey with Disneyland 2024, like say you were going then to Princess or Springtime, I don't remember if they had that version of the medal, which was the different medal.
mhm.
I'd have to even think to last year because it was springtime when I sat and I looked at the metal replica for the 2025 one. I'm like, should I just get it? And
Yeah.
then, like say, and like just in case I get like a bib, and then, say I don't, I can just like I'm not trying to scam somebody. I just will like pop it up and be like, hey, like I'll mail this to you like for cost.
Mhm.
But I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, like I don't know. I feel a little weird about buying like a metal replica that for a race I like not it, and then
And then you were.
yeah, shock. Shock, surprise, bamboozle, to everybody involved. Just so if you know somebody who has an extra metal replica pin, let a girl Um, so because I don't anticipate the lines being too crazy for that. Probably depends on again what they put out though, right?
Yeah.
Because if I feel like
But there might be even more of a frenzy because people are worried about not having it later.
politely this has been more whelming of the actual official coast to coast merch
Mhm.
that I feel like a lot of the small shops, a lot of the other shop have
Have
been
done a
like
better job.
killing it with their coast to coast stuff. So I kind of feel like in a way, like I don't know if stuff it, but also then Run Disney's gonna like drop like an absolute fire design for the like the official coast to coast merch, and then I'm gonna be like, dang it. So and then Disneyland, I feel like always hits it out of the park with merch too. So oh god, it's gonna be a tough month for my wallet. Good lord. So I can't. I don't know if I think the strategy is good. I mean, it's going to be beeline to the dopey stuff. That's just how it goes in the first place. Um, you grab your little hoard, aka like I'm between the medium and the large and the tank top, and I need to figure out which one's going to work better for me, and then I'm going to go
Mhm.
put back the other one, and not even put it back because somebody will probably want it out of my hand before I'm happy to give it to them. If you want the large, here you go. uh, Great, love that for us. But yeah, that'll I'm excited. The merch, it's just little things that are making things feel more real.
Mm.
I obviously with training being weird for me lately, vague posting just a little more. But I feel a little like dissociated from like this training cycle cuz again, like my training started with Chicago training in May. So like I have been off cycle for everybody and then me getting back into dopey training has been special. Um so I feel like there's little things that are like, "Oh, so like yeah, that's happening. That's happening."
Mhm.
And I think that kind of getting the merch preview is another one of those, "Oh, it's happening. Like something's
Mhm.
happening." So it's interesting to kind of I don't know. It's weird to like be in a situation where Dopey's not my A race,
Yeah.
but also in a way for my soul, I think it is still my A race. Like in terms of what's gonna, I really do. I do think like, and we can kind of I'm gonna vague post just a little more about that on how like I don't know. I think there's like some things like spiritually I need to for have that be my A race, even if it's not going to be my like Zoomy race because I
Mhm.
don't got that dog in me right now.
Let's talk about some fun facts. Let's bring the mood up.
So like this
Kind
first
of.
one
The first
is like
one's not
not
up.
it's not up. So yesterday by the time you're hearing this is was Walt Disney's death day. He died on the 15th of December in 1966. So his kind of official press release of his death was on the 16th of December in 1966. Um Something that's again still not very fun but like is a fact
Mhm.
is that his wife Lillian Disney died on December 16th of 1997, so like
Aw,
almost to the day, almost 31 years later.
that is
um
very sad.
that is really sad. Something that's like not as sad but like lightly related to death is Mickey's Christmas Carol released in
What?
1983 on this day.
Because there's
um
ghosts?
Because there's ghosts, and you look at the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, and, like, what your life is going to be if
Don't change.
yeah, like, Jacob Marley is
Okay.
Goofy, like, it's funny because it's 24 minutes long, and, like, every time I rewatch it, I think it's longer, and, like, it just feels like there's, like, when you're there's so much more content packed into that because
Mhm.
to me, this was like until I saw Muppet Christmas Carol for the first time, this was like the definitive Christmas Carol for me.
Got it.
Like, I mean, like I basically like Jacob Marley equal Goofy. Like that's just how it is in my brain. And now
It's fair.
y-
It's funny to me you say that about, like, 24 minutes feeling really long. 24 minutes being considered a short is interesting to me because obviously at the time, like, Disney Channel didn't exist, but, like, 24-ish, maybe 27, I don't know. 24 minutes is, like, pretty close to the length of, like, a TV episode,
It's
and I
22.
wouldn't call a TV episode a short. So, like, a lot goes into
Oh, for
what they
sure.
make, so
As a professional binger of TV shows, not really at the moment, but often, I was like, let me tell you, it's about like 22 minutes. As somebody
yeah.
who binged almost all of Modern Family when she was moving out of her apartment in Ohio, because that was my treat of like you can pack, or if you can turn TV on if you pack box. It was one of
Nice.
those like I blitzed through so much Modern Family. uh like trying to pack because it was like, that or like motivation to do that. But it's funny because it's like, because it feels like it's an hour long when you're a kid, but it's
Mhm.
like, oh no, this is 24 minutes long. Um, it's very funny that's just how it is. Um, the Riviera also opened on this day in 2019. Fun fact.
Woo! That place is beautiful.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's so pretty. It's a definitely gorgeous. I remember like scrolling through the different things that like, oh man, Rogue One came up. Wait. Hold on. I was like, because I remember scrolling through a lot. There's a lot of like Disney family deaths on this like day, and that's a little weird. But in terms of there is also a lot of really interesting history on this day. But like the very first Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party was on this day because they didn't start it until the week before Christmas back in the day in 1983. Um, Rogue One coming out on this day, that's wild. It's weird that Rogue One is almost a decade old though.
That is wild.
Oh, I haven't watched that in a while. That was the first movie Mr. Natalie and I watched together though. Also, like a weird fun sub fact to the Mickey's Christmas Carol is that it was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Short Subject.
That's cool.
That is really cool. I always knew it was elite, but then the Muppets, came in, unseated it. That's okay. At least it's okay to me.
Mhm.
All right. So we kind of had we just had multiple fun facts. I guess the one fun fact wasn't that fun, so I guess we can say we probably had three. Um, sure, we'll go with that.
Look,
Count.
we kinda plan Natalie kinda plans the fun facts, but then she just goes to the link and goes rogue half the time. So,
Sometimes there's different lore in here that I like didn't know about. So
we're
um
flying by the seat of our pants a little bit based on what else we've talked about.
true that. This day in DisneyHistory.com is where we get our fun facts. Wonderful website. I don't think I've shouted them out in like quite a while. But yeah, it's no secret. I'm not making these up myself. Because
We
if
are
I'm
not
making
that good at research.
yeah, I mean there's some stuff I do just know inherently, but these are not one of them. And I love the way that they have everything laid out on the website. Again, great website. Check it out. But threes, multiples. But driving home from work today, I kind of just started thinking, I was like, well, like we're both in this situation where this is our third. So it's my third Dopey and it's
Mhm.
Hannah's third marathon. And I
Correct.
was like, dang, because I guess like last year for both of us, we had like it was our second. Thinking
Mhm.
of like it was Hannah's second marathon, it was my second Dopey, like the sophomore aspect of things. Um, so third time's a charm.
Or is it?
I didn't it could be a hex too. I don't know.
We'll go with it for now.
Interesting thing to think about with how we kind of look at things.
Mhm.
Um, I obviously am a little bit more laissez-faire than I have been for a lot of different reasons
Mhm.
with this, but I also think that either which way things just I think that there is a little bit of like kind of like settling into things that I am a little bit I think there's a lot more that you just kind of like know what to expect, like I'm okay. I'm not going to fully state that I'm like ready in terms of costumes, but I'm more ready than I have been like this many weeks out before Adobe. Let me just
I'm not.
see, the ideas took a long time to get there. It was the whole like, but like the execution. There's only one more thing I have to order for my half marathon outfit, and that's I had it like in my cart, but then just with like shipping time, I'm like I'm gonna wait a couple more days and then order it, just so it times a little bit better for when we are gonna be because everything else I ordered will like get here before we leave for the holidays, but uh this wasn't going to, so I'm like I'm gonna wait like 3 more days so it times
Mhm.
around the time where I would come back. But yeah, let's chat about it.
Yeah. It definitely feels different. I'd really like to say from my perspective that it feels different in a good way because, like, to some, like, probably to my detriment, there's definitely a lot less pressure coming with it because, like, the first one, I was nervous as heck because I'd never done it. The second one, which was part of Dopey, I felt so prepared. I felt so amped. Like, I felt so confident because my training went really well. I was obviously like overtrained, not overtrained in a bad way, but like really well trained to be able to take on like Dopey, let alone the marathon. And because of that, I think I felt overly confident going into this block and I let that like get to me. And also my focus has been all over the place and like I've been sick a lot. I've had a few more injuries than I would have liked to have. And it just wasn't what I planned it to be. But I still, weirdly enough, probably shouldn't feel this like sense of like, it all went not like I wanted it to, but I still feel confident that my body is capable of finishing it, whether it's like, you know, a record or not. Like I still feel like my body can do it. It might not be the most enjoyable marathon I've ever had, but like
I think we both have a different type of expectation though too.
yeah, I think that's what's different is I have different expectations for myself this time.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a race or the A race for either of us.
Mm-mm.
Um, but I also think that there's certain things that I've been able to almost like let go of, right? Like,
Mm.
um, and in a good way. It's not just like, I don't give a crap. Like, no, I do care. I do deeply care, but it's like there's certain things that like it's like, oh, okay, like I did well. Guys, I actually like booked my flights like pretty far out for me, but
I still don't have a room.
okay, well, guys, I'm even booked out for Disneyland. That's big.
Wow.
That's really big for me.
I do have
Anyway,
flights for Tokyo. I did book those. Just
that
saying.
is good. That is good. But there's certain like kind of I mean, there's probably still going to be a little bit of nerves going into like the half marathon. I talk a lot about how the half marathon, the third race of the weekend, how with the half marathon, it's hard to not overthink it, right? It's just you think, it's like, oh man, like every little twinge, every little like tired, every little whatever, like feels like, oh my God, what is happening? Because
Mhm.
you have the marathon the next day if you are running both of them. Versus I feel like, I don't know, like I easy for me to think about that right now because it's like a month out. It's like for a good couple weeks out. I guess not really even a month anymore, but a month from now we'll be done. But it's interesting for me to think about how I think that I just know so much more of what to expect because then I also had
Mhm.
somewhat different experiences in both of my prior dopies. My first one, training had been a hot mess toward the end. I was really consistent leading up to it, then like sickness and stuff like that, and then I went into it with the worst way to find out you have an ear infection, which is called on an airplane. Uh, and like I
Mhm.
spent, I was on antibiotic. I was still on antibiotics for all of the races. I was on them for over 24 hours before the races started, but I was basically just like, well, I just got to get through this. Okay. Right. Like, I just need to, however we finish is how we finish. Like, we're not thinking, like, I know I don't have it in me to do, much more. than just, and I felt fine for it. I did feel fine. I mean, once I start the antibiotics hit and they like released, I felt pretty good. But I was not like hacking in a corral. Absolutely not. But it was one of those things where I think that, and then like last year was like everything went great, right? You
Mhm.
know, I had like my like fun, like, I played for the 5K, I played for the 10K. The half I was a little bit stressed out during, but basically like that was just the first half of it. Um and then kind of once I got into Magic Kingdom from then on, it was like, oh yeah, we're good. We're fine. I ran really well. Didn't really have like no fear whatsoever. Plus I remember, being out on the highway. I'm like, oh, I gotta get like 4 miles in 2 hours. We're good. I'm fine. I'll be just fine here. But and then the marathon went excellent. We had like pretty ideal weather to try to run quickly. Definitely chilly, but it went excellently. So it's kind of like I've had like kind of both ends of that spectrum of like the one of them we were just trying to get through, and the other like we were out for business. It wasn't like it wasn't like there was no pressure on that first Dopey, because there still definitely was. So it's like, you put yourself out there and this is your first marathon and this is how you were doing things. But I think that I'm coming into this as like I've seen both sides of it, right? Like we already kind of broke the seal on yeah, remember that term. Uh we already kind of like broke the seal on the idea that like every marathon I run is going to be a little faster, because
Mhm.
Chicago wasn't. We didn't have a great day in Chicago in terms of like, I did not feel well. You spend 12 miles trying not to barf, and that's just it do be that way. Um but so we've already kind of like, I'm still proud of what I was able to do, but I think we've also kind of like, I think this is gonna make it a little easier for me to just kinda chill and enjoy. Like, okay,
Mhm.
the idea of, like, taking Dopey chill is unhinged, but, I think it'll make me be able to kind of enjoy it a little bit more, because I've seen a little bit of, like, here, there, and everywhere where, like, I've also, that first one, I didn't really have any expectations in terms of, I was like, "I just gotta finish, and I'll probably be able to do that." Uh, and then, like, especially going into the weekend with, like, we're healing from this ear infection." But I've also seen it not go the way I wanted it to, and, like, I was, like, fully trained, rip roaring. I mean, if you kind of listen back, like, I think we all know that I knew. And again, that's we're gonna vague post for the third time about, like, my running, that I will get to eventually, but I think we all knew, because there was a lot of, if you kind of listen back to, like, acceptance with, like, I think that some of that either way would have been healthy for me to be like, it's okay if you don't like PR, like that doesn't mean this was all for naught. It definitely, like, it still means that like you did what you came here to do.
Mhm.
Um it's because it's not PR or ER. I'm an accountant, and like that's my job, not run. We don't PR or ER here. But anyway, I've kind of seen like a kind of a wide enough spectrum of like what can kind of happen, and I think I've been able to find the joy in all of it, most of it, I guess, versus like, and then I mean we throw the goofy in there too, of that was a race that had a weather shortened race. That was the weekend that had that, and like that also like wasn't what you expected, and like I think just finding the joy in all the different things and being able to kind of pivot. I think some of it that has come with experience, but and yeah, I think that kind of like walking into my third, I've had a couple different experiences and like still found joy and happiness in all of them.
Yeah. And I think from those experiences, we've learned a lot of things that even though what led to this coming weekend may not have been ideal, is going to help us have a better outcome than we would have had if we had had the same training block leading into like our first or our second. I think while I probably know that like having better training would have been led to a better outcome, I also know that I can have a better outcome by not pushing myself too fast in the beginning of the race and fueling myself properly the entire race and listening to my body. And I know I'm way more mentally tough now than I was the first race. And I cried for like the last 6 to 10 miles of my first marathon, and I made it through that. So, like, I feel like we're both so much more ready overall, like in a well-rounded kind of way for what we're taking on, even if it hasn't been our ideal like physical training block.
Yeah, if I think back to it too, and if I really am like honest with myself and like looking back at if I'm comparing my training from that first Dopey, oh sweet summer child, to now, we're still doing better now. Like, like if I mean, I'll recap this because I know we've covered this with different like G-World training episodes and discussions. If we go back to that first Dopey, actually, I have my running log up right now. We can look at how many miles I ran in November of 2022. 42 total. That's at 42 total. Again, Natalie was training for a marathon. And that I think the longest run I did during that month was in the 5 mile range. No, nope, there was
Oh
one
my
six. There was one
goodness.
six. There was one 6 miler in there. Okay, so in October I had done a 17, but that was when I was adapting to new medication at the time, and that was not fun. So I did do a 6 miler in November of 22, but that
Okay.
was the longest that was the longest run I did, and I'm seeing a lot of goose eggs when I look in here.
Yeah. Okay, well, that makes uh, honestly, I've been feeling really nervous. I kind of want to pull up the data from my Chicago training block because I've been really genuinely worried, and might be anxiety talking, that like this training block for this marathon has been the same, if not potentially worse than my first training block for Chicago. But I don't think that's actually true because when you just said that of like, I think the longest run I did for Chicago was a 15,
Something
maybe.
like that. You might have
S-
gotten, like, towards 16 or
I
17.
might have gotten to 17, but I think 15 was the longest I did. And I think that 15 was split part outside and part on the treadmill. Um, but I did a 20, I mean, technically, I did a 23 already this training block.
Mhm.
Probably, I think 17 of it was out on the trail when I got
Mhm.
caught in the dark, and then 6 of it was on my treadmill, and those 6 miles sucked because who wants to run on their treadmill, but who also wants to run on their treadmill after they've had the joy of running outside for
True.
so long, and I just wanted to eat dinner, and it was so late. Um, but, like, I remember how that felt, and I was on I mean, okay, again, please take the only with a grain of salt, but, right, I had made it to 23, I would need another 3 miles. I could have done those 3 miles. Would I have been a happy camper about it? No, but my body would have been able to do it, and I would have been okay.
Mhm.
Now, would my 6 blisters have had another thing to say about it? Maybe,
Yeah.
but the rest of my body was fine. So, I don't know.
Yeah. And this isn't, like, an advocate for, like, I don't know, because
We are not advocating under training at
yes.
all.
Yeah, we are absolutely not. And like, am I going to say that even though I'm like, maybe I'm not going to do Dopey next year? Every single person I know has called me out for that, is being like, okay, yeah,
There's
see, it
not a
was
single
sick.
person that believes you. Not a
Okay,
single one.
okay. I wasn't saying I wasn't gonna I did say I did lie and say that I was going to maybe not marathon and again for a little bit, and then I was like, dang it, my POT runs out like after this year. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm doing another marathon because I got to use it while I got it. And then I was like, oh yeah, see you with 6 medals. I'm like, okay, probably. I don't know. I don't know. That's another conversation altogether. So it's not like we're like, I like sometimes I almost disaster plan in ways that I'm like, well, I don't want to get complacent with like this. So like I need to make sure I'm continually pushing myself. And I think that's just an aspect of my personality that I always want to
Mhm,
do. Like, better, you do better. That's just,
mhm,
continuous improvement is just part of my personality. So I don't think that I would just take this as carte blanche to be like, see ya. Like
mhm,
20 milers, I don't know her. Like, like this has been also like, I think having some like respect for the abnormal situation I've been in. And also again, I just ran the freaking Chicago Marathon. I've been talking about it all year about, like, since I signed up for Dopey and knowing I already had Chicago on the books of, like, I didn't know what this month what these, like, 2 months would look like. I
Mhm.
really didn't because I knew that it was going to be completely up to how I was feeling. I could not have anticipated what has gone on. I really could not have. But it is what it is. So I don't think it's a situation where I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna kind of freeball it next time I do a Dopey. No, no, that's not how that's going to work. Because I also know that there's that trade-off of how I wanna feel after. Like,
Mhm.
I always say that, like, part of the reason, like, I do like to run hard. I'm very self-competitive of, I like also just, like, the feeling of just, like, a ripper. I don't know, like, in a, like, kind of like a non-jokey way, like, being able to do that last week and just even in training was like, I felt like I felt like more like myself again.
Mhm.
Um So, like, I just enjoy, like, just the satisfaction of that. Like, I mean, I guess I think they call that, like, a runner's high or something, I don't know. I don't usually get those. So, like, to me, it also is about, like, running good, feeling great, and stuff like that, but I know that, like, if I try to, like, keep, like, what like, my marathon pace, like, of yore during this marathon, like, I'm gonna be hurting, and I'm not gonna be making it to Magic Kingdom for fireworks on Marathon Sunday the way I have the last couple of years, right? So, like, I kind of also know that I have to take that trade-off of, like, okay, so, like, homie, like, it's kinda like
Not even just the fireworks, you gotta be ready for Pink Pony Club on the carousel, man.
true dat. True dat. But, like, it's kind of like so when you're in college and, there are certain you're studying for your finals and, like, you'd love to be, like, an absolute expert in all of your subjects, okay?
Sure.
There's only so much time you have, and, like, some stuff might come more naturally to you, and I'm not saying that you understudied on purpose, but whatever, but, like,
You
when you have
prioritize.
yeah, you have to prioritize, right? But, like, when you are a little understudied for something, or, like, maybe it's just an area you struggle more with, whatever, you can't pour all your time into, like, making sure one problem in your thing is good. Like, you gotta budget your time a little bit, right? Like, if you I'm sure, like, you could probably, like, write that one essay on that thing that you're really, 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 really good at really, really well, but you need to save some brain space to write the things that you're not quite as confident about? It's, like, just time management.
Mhm.
So, like, this isn't the year for me to, like, absolutely, like, cook something or cook out, like, I'm not as prepared as I could be, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Um if that makes some sense of, like, you
Yeah.
gotta do what you have to do what you have to do. Um, and, like, like, it's not like I don't know, at least the way I operate is not like I still got a decent grade off of this final, so, like, I'm not gonna study that hard for this next because right? Like, for me, it was always something that, like, all you have to do at the end of the day, like, all you have to do is, like, get, like, an appropriate enough grade that I was going to, not just to pass, but, like, to,
D's get degrees, baby.
um
Not in grad school.
No, they don't. Whew. But like I was never like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna like do less this semester. It was always like, okay, like this is how we're gonna do this better, and like this might not be like my subject, and I still have to take like the 2 level version of that, like the next level version of that. So this is how we're gonna do better next time. I think
I thi
personally, that's how I operate.
I think that's something at least all of us that have, like, a perfectionist tendency, drive, whatever you wanna call it, have to learn is that, like, good enough is better than nothing at all.
Don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Yeah.
Mr. Natalie says that all the time.
And so yeah, and, like, we have to let go of that and be proud of what we do get done along the
Mhm.
way anyways. So because either way, like, there's a reason it went the way it did. At least, like, I don't know, it depends on if you believe in the universe, a higher power, whatever. I like to give myself some grace and tell myself, like, there's a reason it happened the way it did, and that gives me a little bit of peace.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there's a peacefulness, I think, going into doing something for your like, doing it for your 3rd time. Um, on, like, a completely separate note, and I don't know exactly why this well, probably because we were talking about merchandise and whatever. I was like, "Well, we were from serious, now back to merchandise." But, like, I'm thinking about it and, like, that first Dopey, for somebody who signed up for Club Run Disney because of, like, they were doing their first Dopey, like, I didn't put that much stress on, like, getting it all, right, and type of
Mhm.
things, right? Like, I see that Dopey jacket from that year that, like, it's really it's cute, but, like, I'm not like, "Dang, I shoulda gotten that because that was my first," stuff like that. Like, trust me, I've bought plenty of cute merch since. But it's kind of like one of those things where, I didn't put so much pressure onto that or like, cause I just assessed like, do I actually like this? Like, I remember
Yeah.
putting on the Dopey ears and like, they're cute. And like, that's one that I kind of wish I bought, but like I did, but I also don't like, I'm not like, oh my God, I need to like get a pair from like somebody selling them. But like, I was like, I kind of wish I bought them, but I remember trying them on. I remember like sending a couple pictures. I'm like, I don't know if I like them enough cause I'm getting marathon ears like at the end of the
Mhm.
fall. So I think, like, there's certain, like, pressures of, like, that of, like, like, your expo doesn't have to go perfect. You like, this doesn't, like, like, it doesn't all have to go perfect for it to be, like, a
Mhm.
good time, and that means, like, some of, like, the non-running parts too.
Yeah. You know what else is something I've learned? So, first marathon, Hannah I think I knew it was gonna suck at least a little bit
Oh, yeah.
just because, like, I knew that I hadn't trained super great. And then I think naively, because I was so confident in my training for the second one, I didn't think I would have that same struggle in, like, the last 10K or so. And even though physically, like, from, like, my quads or my hips are the things that really hurt me physically in my first marathon, I underestimated the mental load as well as I think I naively didn't think the bottoms of my feet would hurt. My bottoms of my feet hurt always, no matter what, once I get past the early 20s. Like, the last 5 to 10K, the bottoms of my feet just hurt. It's just how it is. And I don't think I had prepared for that mentally. So I was, like, a little surprised that I don't know why, that a marathon is hard.
True dat.
And so I think I'm a little more mentally prepared to know that, like, at some point, I'm gonna struggle no matter how everything led up to the race. So, like, here in case this sounds stupid, your feet might hurt, like, something about the race will be hard.
Yeah.
Just be ready for that.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Uh, this is one of the most interesting things is that kind of coming off Chicago, and again, there it's not like I didn't hurt. 'Cause let me tell you, I don't know if I've ever otherwise, like, almost army crawled around my hotel room. Like, I don't know if it's been that bad for my Disney marathon. Probably because I did do a solid amount of walking around Chicago, but because I had to
Mhm.
we had to walk to the Palmer House, we had to go walk back to the hotel, and let me tell you, that was plenty. But it's not like I didn't do some walking, but like I honestly like I wasn't actually crawling, but like I kind of felt like I almost
Mhm.
needed to after the Chicago Marathon this year. But yeah, the marathon is just gonna be hard. Like there's a reason why less than 1% of people in the world have done it because it's hard.
Mhm.
It's not easy. And also just running in general, not easy. It's not like, not everybody can do this. So,
Mhm.
or like, like kind of like in by that I mean kind of has the like resilience to do it. Anyway,
Mhm.
somewhat off topic, but I think kind of also being in this kind of like third time's a charm. I mean, and I've talked a little bit about this, is that there's the comfort of Disney races.
Mhm.
Because I was obviously missing that at Chicago because it literally was not at Disney. And just knowing, right? Like, oh, like I know what to expect. And even when it was my first marathon, I knew what to expect. Like if you go near Animal Kingdom, like I know I've been to Animal Kingdom plenty of times. Like I know what to expect. Like I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna, there's some surprises, but like you kind of like you have this knowing
Mhm.
nature of things. And I think that kind of coming back for like a third, like, I think that's going to help me stay more present
Mhm.
too. And I'm not saying that like I wasn't present last year, but like I think that kind of being able to be here and like again, like I don't have like really expectations to my race except for finishing happy, healthy, and upright. Trying
Mhm.
to meet up with as many like kind of like listeners as possible, like just like seeing people because like that's the
Mhm.
best part of marathon weekend. It's just like a gathering of all your people.
Yep.
um and that's just a Run Disney race in general, but I feel like more of the family reunion and type of such is kind of during marathon weekend. um so I think that it's gonna help me stay more present to have, like first of all, I've been around the block a couple times, like, I know that the 4 wake ups in a row just stink. There's gonna be
Mhm.
one there's always one morning where you wake up and you just kinda, like, lay there and you're like,
Why?
"Why?" And, like, I remember talking to somebody during the 10K during my first Dopey and, like, waiting for a character, and he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna wake up on Sunday. You're gonna look at the ceiling and just go, 'Why?'"
See, for me, it's half day.
Usually, yeah. Usually it's half day for me, but he's like, you are going to wake at some point this weekend. It's like you're not, it doesn't mean you're not grateful for it, but you are gonna just look up and go, why? And you're gonna love it, and you do it again, and you do it again. But he's like, but you are going to do that. So don't feel like weird about it. Cause like like this is a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a different like presence that you can have, like when you have like, like, and I'd say even though this dopey training for me hasn't been quite as, not as check all the boxes. In terms of kind of if we take it back to Chicago training, and again, this is different with like different types of I did a ton of back to back running though over the summer because I was running 4 days a week, so you only have so many days
Mhm.
to run. Would math. But in terms of like what like it, well, that was my fourth marathon training block. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that like the idea of just kind of like going out and doing your long run, your long training run, and kind of like, yes, like 17 is like a lot, like a lot. But like
Mhm.
the idea of like kind of getting out to do that is a little less scary. So like there's certain things about like the distances, like, yes, it's a lot and it still is like a little inherently scary, but like you know what to expect. Like I know that me v wind is like definitely going to be an ongoing saga forever as long as I live in the Midwest. And it'd be fine if it weren't for the wind. But like there's certain things that's like I know what 26.2 feels like, right? Where
Mhm.
it's like I know what it feels like. I know what 13.1 feels like. I know what doing them in a row feels like too. So I think that it's kind of helped me be a little bit more pleasant or present,
Mhm.
to just kind of finish, like have like a good strong finish, enjoy the weekend, and just like I know what this isn't. It's still novel because it's fun, it's exciting, it's all these good things, but it's like some of the novelty that comes with like the scary or like the kind of like anxious nature of it has
Mhm.
kind of gone away, and I think that in a
Yeah.
positive way.
I think we've both learned not to let the the nerves, like, get in the way, or, like, not maybe get in the way, but, like, we know that having nerves is normal
Mhm.
to some extent, and so, like, it does, I mean, you're gonna have the butterflies, you're gonna feel whatever you're gonna feel, but, like, I feel like we embrace that a little bit more and understand, like, that it's okay to feel that way.
Yeah, like it's just talking about it like the half marathon, like how like I always like feel like I'm gonna tinkle a little, like nervous tinkle a little bit with the half marathon, especially during dopey weekend. Like I know that it's like I know, and it's one of those like, not like I know I shouldn't feel like that because like it's still like a valid feeling, but it's one of those things where like I didn't expect it the first time. Just the same way, like, I feel like I always say that like what caught me by surprise the most with training for that first dopey was like how much time the back to backs take.
Mhm.
And it's not necessary. It's not just the 20 miler. It's the 8.5 the day before.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's not an insignificant amount of mileage to do, and,
Mhm.
like, doing them back to back in line and for me, it was, with with the wind, with the weather, like, lining them up back to back, and
It
that
was
was
hard.
or that being hard. I mean, I did 7 and 17 that first Dopey back to back. I did not do my 9 and 20 back to back. I had to put a day in between them because of the weather.
Mhm.
So and I certainly did not do 4 days back to back for drink for that Dopey. No, sir. No, ma'am. No, no, no. No, we didn't. So it's certain things where it's like I kind of like I know enough about what to expect about certain experiences that I'm just able to kind of like
Mm.
settle in.
Is there anything you feel like now after this right, our training block is like, we're pretty dang close to taper, and is there anything you feel like now after this 3rd cycle I mean, you obviously have more cycles just for marathons, but just in general that you feel like you wanna change for next time or for your next training block regardless of what it's for?
Ooh, that's a really interesting question because I think
'Cause no matter how many times we do it, we're always learning.
that's true, and I think that I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't learn, right?
Mhm,
Like, if I just, I'm not as I'm not like I'm not just a same as last year type of person in terms of like, right? Like, the things that work that I find work, we're gonna yeah, they stay. But it's, like if I don't know, but that's a good question of like kind of going into my next training block. Because I feel like a lot of the lessons that I've learned out of this one have been like learning it off of, like, a negative experience, and I don't wanna really
mhm,
I bet damn fake posting. Um, because I think that there's certain things about, like, trusting my body and what it can do and what,
mhm,
like, I do train it to do that I think I've gotten a lot better about that. I did kinda lose it along the way this time because I knew certain things weren't going right.
mhm,
I knew some of what I was experiencing was abnormal. I did know.
mhm.
But I found, like, 18,000,000 different reasons to, like, figure out a different reason for it, right? Like and
Yeah,
I mean, if, like, kind of if I were to explain it in its entirety, I think you would understand um, why I, like, thought things were the way they were, but I think that I don't know, because I don't want that to be my takeaway necessarily, because I think that I have felt a little less like because again, my training cycle started with Chicago training. So I was off cycle from like all my friends who were training for Marathon Weekend,
mhm,
all like everybody else. Like I was in kind of like a little bit of a block with other people doing Chicago and then either they're going Chicago to Dopey. But even that point, like I think that um
Do you
people
think
do
you
their own thing.
thrive off of the community aspect of the training?
I do think so, but also I think it was healthy in a way for me to be marching to the beat of my own drum. I do think that that was good. Um, because I was again so in my own bubble of like I did a 20 in September. Like most people doing dopey, like you were getting into your teens. So
Mhm,
like this is the first time I've really like strongly diverted from Galloway training because I was doing Run Fit Mamas training. So
mhm,
and like she does like also, but like this is one of the first times like I had to be diverted, like right, like
mhm,
I was not doing a 17 miler the week after the Chicago Marathon. No, ma'am. No. So I think that while I do thrive off of the community aspect of like, especially whenever I send you oh my God, the Wednesday lift just almost killed me.
mhm,
like, like I was shaken doing my chest presses, whatever. I think that that was good because it helped me stay grounded and like it's okay to be on your own training. Like you have
mhm.
still the community aspect because you're building toward the same thing, but it's okay to also be, you know,
On your own path.
yeah, and I remember, especially if I think back to that first one, that first Dopey where I like wasn't like that November of 22 where again the longest run was I did that month, I should say, just that month was under 7 miles. I did get a 20 in before I did that first Dopey, but I remember being like, wow, like I'm so behind the ball. I'm
Mhm,
so behind the ball. And like again, there was like what I was experiencing was what I was experiencing, right? With I I was asking my body to do a lot and like that less than 7 miles was all I could ask of it at the time. as I was adjusting to that. And then, I started working, we started working on it. We started getting through things. It started getting better. Right. So I think that kind of having to have marched to the beat of my own drum this time was good for me. I think I will enjoy being kind of like, it's like when you run with a pacer,
Mm.
you know, you turn your brain off or you just kind of vibe, right? Like you listen to the pacer, they tell you when to run and walk, they do that part for you. And like you're just with a group. Um, but like, and that's nice. It's nice to be part of. I enjoy being part of pace groups like that. They make things go by quicker. But like I think it doesn't like I think being kind of like back into the swing of things where, like I say, you turn your brain off because like Jeff Galloway's PDF that he puts up on the Run Disney website is not going to plan it around my life.
Mhm.
Right? Like, guess what? Friends, when you have this obligation, that obligation, this obligation, like you still have to do the planning and I still have to wake up and do the work. Right? Like
Mhm.
I still have to wake up and choose to do that. So, but it'd be kind of nice to kind of like just vibe. Um, that like kind of wasn't really an answer. It was like it was kind of a smattering of thoughts, but I do think that I'm okay with marching to the beat of my own drum. I'm definitely okay with I'm okay with that. And I think I've always been like that where I've always been I'm somebody who thrives in community settings, but I also am somewhat independent in terms of like what I do. I'm like fine with like going rogue a little bit and staying true to like myself and who I am. So um yeah, I'm like gonna kind of like wheedle on that like a little bit more. Do you have anything in particular? Because I feel like I definitely have some thoughts, but hmm.
I never thought you'd ask. Yeah, I do. Um, Mine is not specific to, like, I would run more days a week, or I would run less days a week, or I would do more strength. It's nothing, like, super specific to my actual like, what my training breaks down to. My biggest takeaway from this block is after Dopey last year, I knew I was burnt out, but I never really did anything about it. Like, I knew I was burnt out after Dopey. I knew I was burnt out going into Princess. And so after Princess, I just stopped doing anything whatsoever. And I was okay with that for a little while. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to like need that and like let yourself do what you need to do. But I never really came up with a real plan to get myself back on to some kind of thing. I didn't do anything like else. Like I just think I need to find another way to like reset. And I also think I need to find a happier balance of like what I'm committing myself to going forward because like I love Marathon Weekend. So I don't want to feel like any kind of sense of dread ever about Run Disney or training for Run Disney or any race really. And I've also had my own journey this year while we're vague posting of things with my mental health that I've been working on and that has had a big impact on my ability to like execute on things and what my like coping strategies and things are in order to do things and like stay on top of things just in general. And so I've been reflecting on that a lot lately. And so I think that's what I would like to do better like in my next training block is find a better strategy for resetting so that I'm not feeling that burnout because I don't think I ever truly did anything to like reset. I just took a really long break, pretended it never happened, and then struggled to try and start over. Um, and I would like to figure out a way around that. So like maybe it involves integrating something that's completely not running related once a week or something, like going back to a yoga studio or trying Pilates or like I don't know, but doing something, like, totally different, um, I'm not really sure. And then I also think, like, setting goals for myself more frequently. Like, races for me have always been a really good, like, goalpost, but I
Mhm.
think because the goalposts were too far out, like, I didn't have any, like, checkpoints really along the way this year. I think I don't wanna, like, I tend to go 0 to 100, hence the burnout. Um, so I don't wanna go, like, off the handle and be like, "I'm gonna do a race every single month so that I stay accountable every single month along the way," because I think that's also gonna create the wrong effect. Um,
Which we're talking about for us, by the way.
yeah. No, 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 that could be awesome for you, but for me,
Yeah.
specifically, I think that will end up creating the same problem,
Mhm.
just with a different like, with the same outcome, just different path to get there. So trying to find balance, I think, is what I would like to do in my next training cycle.
Yeah, if we're talking burnout, and I did catch this for myself. I remember being a little worried about this for myself back in April. I'm like, gosh, like springtime is that first weekend in April, and I'm like, if I do Galloway, like I already have to be marathon training. I'm like, that's not happening if
Mhm,
I did the full shebang. But I remember, I said I took April off. I really didn't. If we go back to the stats of running, I really really didn't. And I remember being like, I'm worried about burning out
mhm,
because usually that's just like I already struggle to run in the spring
mhm.
a little bit, which is I know sounds silly because it's like wow it's getting warm again. I'm like I'm tired
Yeah.
because it's also at the end of our season. So I think almost for me, if I say that, like, I'm gonna take a year off the marathon, then y'all know I'm not actually. But it kind of brings me back to actually, if after that first dopey, how I said to myself, I'm like, 2024 is gonna be the year of the half. Okay. Like I said, I was like, I'm doing wine and dine, I'm doing Disneyland, I'm doing Princess, but like this is the year of the half. I don't have time for a marathon. I don't want to do a marathon this year. And then come into August of 2023, and I'm absolutely like ferally like rabies, like no, not actually, but like I'm literally like I'm like I'm having such a good training block. Like I want to do another one. That's how the Goofy Bib happened.
Mhm.
Well, that was a little bit just more luck that happened, but I don't wanna suggest because I know that I'm not telling the truth if I'm like, "Maybe I just" I'm definitely not doing 2 marathons next year.
For sure, yeah.
Uh, well, okay, okay,
Well,
I
no, no,
am gonna
no. No, no, no. We're gonna hold ourselves accountable. We're not putting our names in for random lotteries that are gonna accidentally get us into that situation. Natalie, stop it. Stop shrinking away. What did you do?
okay, I haven't done anything yet. Guys, I didn't get into Chicago. I actually this is the first time I've lottoed for something and, like, actually kinda wanted to get in. Literally hypocrite. But, and I actually because I wanna have that redemption, especially as, like, things are starting to go better.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I am fine with it, though. I do still want a lotto for New York, because I that is I do want a lotto for New York. But besides that, um, I also do think that part of this is that I'm gonna have, like, a little bit because that's, your sophomore
Yeah.
version of but, um, so I can't even commit myself to, like, I'm not gonna do 2 marathons in this much time because that's not happening. Um, but I did resist temptation of, like because I did, like, when I was, like, sitting there, like, kind of refreshing, waiting for the Chicago thing to get called, I was like, "What if I just, like, before like, I what if I, like I have, like, a charities open in another tab and, like, I kind of am, like" and then I decided I was like, "This was what was meant to be with this." I do think it's interesting of, like, what's, like, the activity that because I used to and I don't even because, like, it's so nonstop now, like, what's, like, the activity of mine that, like, I want to do that I say, like, I can't do during, like, run season? Like, I wanna go skiing one time, but, like, by the time that my run season's over, like, that's not happening. But, like, it's one of those things I'm like, I'm not gonna go skiing when I know I have Princess in February or March. Like, I'm not gonna go break a leg. Bye. So I have to, like, think of, like, what my activity kind of would or, like, would be, like, right? Like, like, still keeping that healthy active lifestyle, because that part I enjoy. That's why like the running just continues to happen even when I'm quote unquote taking time off.
Mhm.
It's like just go out, clear your head in the morning before work, and then that just feels good for the day, right?
Mhm.
Even when you're like, basically, it's the obligation of a long run Saturday that's off when I'm in off season. The weekday
Mhm.
runs, they stay, or like maybe if I want to do a Saturday run, I do. But yeah, and I don't want to like suggest that, because I do think that there's like something to be said about the fact that like I feel like we are in very much grind hustle culture, and
Mhm.
in general, just but also like especially like with running and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And like if doing like 3 marathons a year works for you, that's great. Love that for you. It's not for me. Um it's really not.
Mhm.
There is an alternate universe where I do have London this spring though too, because I got in, but like thank God I didn't. Like if that's not for me, at this stage of my life, I don't know. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
So I think that accepting like what is and isn't for me, and also like I think something that comes along again with this kind of go back to the third time's a charm of a way of like, because they've all looked so different, that I think I'm also like more okay with like this one's also going to look different, right? I've been saying all year, I've been chirping all year. I'm like, this is my vibe, Dopey. That was also under the pretense that I, ripped it, renewed my POT in Chicago, ripped it, got a huge PR in Chicago, and like this was just for vibes, mostly. And that's not what happened. But still, like, even though like it's not what happened, this is what I'm okay with this Dopey looking a little bit different, like, right, like. But then there's also like because the third time's a charm. Like I do know I function better when I sleep more. So guess who will be probably whose goal is to be asleep by like 5:15 p.m. on the night before the marathon? Mine. Like that's what I'm going to try to do. So there's like there's different things that like you learn, and like you learn, I mean, by the third time doing something, whether or not like you've done like, for you it's 3 marathons, not they've not all been at the same place. Like you kind of do know what works best for you. Like for me, like I had that outlier, the Chicago Marathon in the middle there. I know what works best for me, because I remember like, well, like it's like 5 p.m. I feel like I should be in bed already.
Mhm.
I didn't start running till 8:47 a.m. the next day. And but I was like, I like woke up at like 3:45 a.m. I'm like, I know I shouldn't feel like I slept in, but like I do. Like this doesn't
Mhm.
feel this feels weird. But I also know what works for me, right? And I know that like there's certain habits that I have, and that kind of makes it a more relaxing process, as relaxing as almost 50 miles in 4 days can be. But I feel like there's like a lot more I want to like dive into on like a lot of like different subtopics and stuff like that. Especially I think burnout
It's a
would
good
be
thing we have a podcast where we can talk about whatever we want on whatever episode we want.
true dat, true dat. It's kind but yeah, I think burnout especially, like, I think because again, like, I love if I used to joke that I'm like, "Yeah, I don't actually, like running that much." I'm like, "Okay, no, I really do love running." I can't imagine, like, if I didn't actually enjoy, like, some part of the process that I would
Mhm.
spend this much time doing it, like, I'm sorry, but, like, I love the medals, I love the whatever, but, like, that would not be worth the pain to me, like, if I didn't also enjoy the running part too, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think oh man, there are so many like different subtopics to unpack, but I don't know if this is helpful to people. Like I don't know. Like I the third time's a charm, and then we talk about how like, yeah, we're not doing this again. No, I'm kidding. But I think that there's aspects of like, you know, like they're going in a little more chill for lack of a better term. Hopefully,
Yeah.
like not like chilly, but like I don't know. The things that I think like I felt like I sweat like this like the small stuff that I sweat. Like I'm not going to sweat the small stuff
Yeah.
anymore. I mean, like I might actually pop off if there's no pineapple cider, but that's something different altogether. Like that might actually send me somewhere into orbit actually with Pluto. Me and Pluto going to be in orbit if there's no pineapple cider. So I'm not even going to like wish that on the world, but um but I think there's a lot of just like, you know, I
Mhm.
know what to do. Like we both got sick last year before
Yeah.
number 2, right? Like we were both
We
knocked on our tushies.
love the cocoa.
Yeah, no, we don't want Miss Coco, coming to for Christmas dinner again. But I think what we both knew to, like we were both, like, kind of a little like, "Oh, shoot. How is this gonna impact what we want to do?" Now, like, at this point, like, I've I've had different types of illness, actually all 3, 'cause this is the prophecy. Again, the prophecy says we're gonna have a good dopey, guys, because I've had a couple dumpster fires. I've had to call, State Farm a couple times to come, like, dump my car. We're good. We're fine.
She got a new battery for the car. We're
Oh,
all
yes, we did.
good.
We are yes, the car mom, the car's fine. Like, we after the second time having to have them come jump it, I'm like, "I'm done. I'm getting a new battery. We're done." You kinda learn how to deal, and I also think that, like, again, like, although I feel like we've kind of focused on things that are like, "Wow, like, this is different." I think that they all like, it's a net positive,
Mm,
right? Like, we're not sweating the small stuff this year.
yeah. I have 2 summary statements that I think rounds it all out for us. You
Mhm.
ready?
Yes.
The third time isn't about proving you can do it. It's about trusting that you already have. And experience doesn't remove the challenge, it changes how you meet it.
I'd say well said with that. It definitely changes how you meet the challenge. And then the challenges along the way.
Yeah.
Build a little resilience. Rub a little dirt on it.
We'll see you guys at Marathon Weekend.
Woo!
If you enjoy listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud, and you might even be featured on a future podcast episode. We have a community spotlight on our Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Medal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment you want to celebrate, send us a picture via our social media platforms or our email. And to continue the fun, join us on our Facebook page. All the ways to connect with us can be found in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.